Group F, and one side that Jake forgot to name quite clearly. Oh, Canada. Oh, baby. It's Canada back at the World Cup for the first time since 1986. 41st ranked team in the world. And you may laugh, you may smirk. Guess who scored the most goals in international football in 2021? It was the Canadians. They just happened to draw an exceptionally difficult group. Second ranked side in the world, Belgium. They're a side arguably the best goalkeeper in the world, arguably the best midfielder in the world. But what else is this golden generation going to be able to get over the hump and actually go on and win something? Finished third at the last World Cup, so they've been knocking on the door, just haven't broken it down yet. Morocco, the only African nation to go on and win all of their group games in World Cup qualifying. A managerial change has brought back Ziyech, Mazraoui, and Harit into the side. That's some quality there, a much different looking Morocco side heading into this tournament. And Croatia, they've changed a lot since 2016 or 2018, I should say, the 12th ranked team in the world. They were weak in World Cup qualifying, freshened up things at center back. Now they simply don't lose, although the midfield looks very much the same. Brozovic, Kovacic, and Modric over 300 caps combined. Add Perisic's 115 caps on this. On top of that, they have some requisite experience for the runners-up in 2018. Belgium to win the group, -150. Croatia, +210. Who's taking Canada at 1253? Anyone? Silence? Morocco at 1,000 plus 1,051 to win the group here. Canada would just like to score a goal, perhaps go on and shock the world. They say that they're fearless, but in a group with some real tried, tested, and true teams, it's going to be a reach to expect much from Canada. Or am I off base here, Jake? What are the numbers telling you?
You're not off base. I think it's going to be really difficult for Canada. The numbers back that up as well. I personally am all over Belgium. I know that there's a lot not to like about them, particularly defensively, where they've still got Alderweireld and Vertonghen in there. I'm surprised Vermaelen isn't in there as well, just to keep the gang together. But yeah, from a Canadian perspective, Infogol's given 58% chance of finishing bottom of the group, which I think it's hard to argue with. I think there's some quality operators in there. I like Belgium to win the group at -150. It may seem short, but one thing we know about Belgium is that they are flat track bullies. They tend to get beat by the better teams because they expose the weaknesses. But against the lesser likes, Croatia, I think, are very beatable, and Canada in particular. I think Belgium will just prove a little bit too strong, and they take a lot of pleasure in beating bad teams, which is generally why they're still quite so high in the world rankings. So I'd quite like Belgium to win the group. I think Morocco could spring an upset. I really do. I think Croatia are a vulnerable second favourite in that group. Morocco, really, really solid defensively. As you mentioned, they've got some key players coming back in after a dispute with the federation. I think they could be dangerous. I think they could be a real threat to Croatia. But for me, the best bet in this group for me is just Belgium to win the group. I just genuinely think they could play, us four at the back and they'd still win this group.
I'm not sure about that, but point made. Simon, do you agree? And how's your right foot?
It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. I don't know if I'm a centre back. We'll see. We'll have a conversation. Get me on the phone. Let's see what I reckon. I think Belgium is a strong option for that. I think it's actually quite an interesting group as well. I think Canada could have an impact. Morocco, as you say, with those players coming back in, look much, much more dangerous in attack. That's going to be a huge boost. I'm leaning towards Belgium and Croatia, but I think Morocco could potentially challenge in that one. It's going to be quite interesting. I think Belgium are a very solid side. I think those players coming in, whether they get back into the group, if the manager can get the right balance, get everyone on board, I think Morocco again could be a little bit explosive, but could potentially be in a good way. Bringing these guys back in. Been some disputes. It'll be interesting to watch. But I think it's Belgium and Croatia. But if things click for Morocco, then they could definitely make a challenge.
All right. So 2 to the 3 have dismissed Canada's chances. Andrew, you can bring some reputability to this this podcast here. Put your stake in the ground. Make a claim. Canada to advance.
I'm not sure I can go that far, Gareth, if I'm honest. But I do like possibly Morocco to finish bottom at plus 150, because I saw they lost 3-0 to the USA earlier this year, and everyone knows that Canada are better than the USA, aren't they?
That's true. That is true.
So if they lost 3-0 to USA, they're bound to lose to Canada. But I was actually going to make a case for Croatia to top the group at plus 210, because they beat Denmark twice and took 4 points from France in the recent Nations League. So I think with that sort of form behind them, maybe they can actually top the group. And I say that as somebody with a Tintin poster on the wall behind me, but I'm going to go against Belgium and say that Croatia could top this one.
Yeah, Lukaku, the question around him, hasn't played what, 3 or 4 games this season? Hazard, like, look, Belgium, I'd be shocked if they didn't advance from this group, but I think there's some value with Croatia at plus 210. Look at how they've fared over the last year. I think they've only lost 1 or 2 games. Like, they've played some really good teams, and they've been very competitive. Sutalo and Vardiol coming into play center back for this team is changed the way that they play, quite frankly. They're much more sound, no more Vida and Lovren there. And like, look, are they the perfect side? No, but I think they might even be better than the side that reached the final in 2018. I really do about Croatia. Perhaps I'm believing too much hype. Very quickly before we move on, Canada to score against Belgium. It's on pinnacle.com. Minus 116 for yes, plus 105 for a no. Come on, guys. Can we get onto the yes train here? Canada's never scored a goal at a World Cup. Could in that opening match, Belgium's back line show a little bit of vulnerability?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it wasn't Larin one of the top scorers in qualifying, I think. So, yeah, with Belgium's aging defence, I think they can score, definitely.
Eustachio scored 5 goals for FC Porto. Davies, we'll see his fitness. Jonathan David, I believe he's the 3rd highest scorer in Ligue 1 right now at present time. So there's some attacking quality in this Canada side. It's defensively where the questions will be asked. So we'll see how it all plays out. No matter what, it's going to be a big month for Canadian football, and we're so excited to be back on the world stage.